May meeting for the Park and Recs Department, and let's start off by having a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from our April meeting? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Tammy, announcements.
Announcements. Upcoming Board of Commissioners meetings will take place on Monday, May 23rd and Monday, June 20th at the Radnor Township building. The next Parks and Recreation Board will take place on Thursday, June 9th at the Radnor Township building. The community swimming registration will take place on Saturday, May 21st at the Radnor High School pool. The Radnor Elementary School Smart Run will take place on Sunday, May 22nd at Radnor Elementary School. The Radnor Memorial Day Parade will take place on Monday, May 30th. The route will begin at the Radnor Financial Center on Route 30. For a listing of all of our department's upcoming activities, including all of our summer camps and activities, please visit our website at www.radnorparksandrecreation.com.
Okay. Do you want to roll into activities report, or do you want to go to the presentation of the new business?
Let's start with a presentation under new business.
Okay.
We have with us tonight Maharsi Naidu. He's going to present to you his outline for his upcoming Eagle Scout project that's going to take place regarding the Radnor Conservancy's 5K trail walk and run that's going to be coming up on Sunday, June 5th.
Hi, I'm doing a 5K trail run with the Radnor Conservancy project. There's some of my pictures for the trail up there. A part of my project is basically clearing the trail for the 5K runners along the willows. The run I'm helping with is the Race for Open Space 5K run, and it's hosted by the Radnor Conservancy at the Willows. And I'm clearing away brush, moving logs, adding foot places for the stream, and fixing up a mud patch, cutting roots and moving fallen branches. On top of that, I'm helping advertise for the trail run for the Radnor Conservancy, and I will be there with some scouts on the day of the run to help with anything they need for the run. These pictures show a couple of the sites I'm working on for the run. This is one of the streams that runners gonna have to cross. So we're going to be adding foot places inside the stream so they can cross it easier without any too much difficulty. These are some of the logs that we're going to have to cut down in the middle of the trail. There's large fallen branches across part of the trail, so we're going to need to saw some of them and move some of them away. And there are larger logs, as you can see in the back of the picture, that we're going to be needing to cut and move out of the way.
That's no small project.
How many folks do you have in your crew that are going to assist you with your project?
I'm going to be having a minimum of 5 scouts coming with me to each session that we have. We're going to have about 6 sessions set up for the upcoming weeks. On page 10, page 10, they have 6 days set up. The last day is the day of the trail run on the 5th.
Okay, I see you have a projected man hours of about 125.
Yep.
Okay, great. Anybody else have any questions? Tammy, anything you want to add?
I just want to take an opportunity to thank you for preparing this and also working closely with members of the Radnor Conservancy, specifically Sarah Lupkis. I think you've been working closely with her and spending some time out on the trail, and I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Looks like a wonderful project, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is right. There's any other fellow members of the Scout troop that are interested in doing some projects, we'd certainly welcome having them step forward, and that'd be great. But good luck to you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, why don't we move into our activities report?
The activities report for April. April was a very busy month for the Parks and Recreation Department. The Spring Youth Basketball League is currently up and running with over 80 participants, and we would like to give a special thank you to all the t-shirt sponsors: Christy Pabaru Mortensen and Young, Dilworth Paxson, Garrett Hill Coalition, Wayne Sporting Goods, Mainline Pizza, Rosen, Schaefer and DeMeo, Kelly Marketing, and Therapy Source. A special thank you also goes to Jim Canelio for all of his time and effort that was spent to develop this very successful program. The Spring Egg Hunt was held on Sunday, April 10th, with over 40 participants in its inaugural year. The lead sponsor for the event was Grimm, Bean, and Thatcher. In-kind contributors were also in attendance for the event, and they were Fruce Products and Beverages and Whole Foods. Thank you goes to everyone who took part in the event and for making it a great success. The Delaware Valley Orienteering Association orienteering event took place on Saturday, April 16th, but had low attendance, unfortunately, due to inclement weather. The MS Society Walk took place on Sunday, April 17th, and had over 260 walkers and raised $30,000. The World Cup Sports Academy Spring Break Soccer Camp took place the week of April 17th with 70 campers, and Silver Knights Chess Camp was held with 11 campers. The annual Arbor Day tree planting and celebration was a huge success with over 100 participants, inclusive of 5 dens with the Radnor Cub Scout Pack 19. This year's event included planting of 5 trees along the Radnor Trail due to the efforts of the members of the Radnor Conservancy. A representative from the Bureau of Forestry from Pennsylvania was also there to present the township with its Tree City USA Award for 18 years. Thank you to everyone who made this a spectacular event. The Youth Trout Derby also took place on Saturday, April 30th and Sunday, May 1st, with over 50 kids for each session. Thank you to Steve Grabowski for his efforts in coordinating this annual event. Summer registration also kicked off last Monday with numerous registrations coming in by mail and in person. Our 30-plus page summer brochure is currently in circulation and has been posted to our website. Each of you should also have it in your packets. So please take a look at that. I'd like to thank Katie Diamond and Leah McVeigh, especially for their efforts with this publication. We're currently taking registrations for upcoming trips to the Philadelphia Phillies and the U.S. Open Tennis Championships. I have met with Radnor High School staff and Radnor Day Camp director to discuss organization and logistics for the Radnor Day Camp program. I'm also in touch with the School District Pupil Services Department regarding the special needs campers within the camp and the associated support staff who take part in the camp. We've also discussed the dynamics and the scheduling for the extended school year program. We're still working through the hiring process for Radnor Day Camp and the Summer Tot Lot program, and it's anticipated that many staff will be returning from 2010. New steps to the hiring process are currently being adapted and include an interview with the Township Manager, Robert Zinkowski, in addition to an interview with myself and drug testing. Staff will also continue to be background checked and will take part in a 2-day staff training that covers overall preparation for their position. The Township newsletter development is currently underway by Franklin Maps, and the Township has been in receipt of a first draft that's being reviewed by the staff. The current timeline for distribution is around June 1st. The Radnor Summer Concert Series has been finalized, and we're proud to feature 5 new entertainers for the series this summer. The series will take place over the course of 7 evenings and locations within Radnor. In addition to TD Bank, Wegmans, and Wawa, we would also like to highlight and thank our new sponsor, Pico Energy Company, for their support in the amount of $800. We're still looking for other in-kind donors for ice cream, water ice, and other items, and also preparing concert posters and communications to be distributed throughout the township. In addition to programming, usage at Radnor Activity Center at Sulpizio Gymnasium is also being coordinated. 5 rentals took place in April for activities such as basketball and birthday parties. 2 of the rentals were for a series of several days. We're also continuing to schedule the facility with various public and private groups, along with our department's spring and summer recreational usage. The Willows Mansion hosted 8 events in April, and 6 events are scheduled for May. The park supervisor, Paul Totero, has been very busy preparing and addressing the field conditions and has been communicating with the community sports organizations regarding field openings and closures. Paul has also been addressing other maintenance items throughout the township. The entrance combination to the park comfort stations is 1, 2, 3. Fenimore Woods requires a permit and a key, which you need to use and access the park bathroom. Township staff and members of Radnor Wayne Little League have been assessing the damage that was caused by high winds that tore off the roof at the Emlyn Tennell B ball field dugout in late February. Radnor Wayne Little League representatives are working with a local contractor to perform the work and rebuild the roof to match the architectural drawings that were developed and bring the structure into township code compliance. The Township Community Development Department is currently working with Radnor Wayne Little League on the permit application process so that the work can begin. The Township staff has also been working with Radnor Wayne Little League representatives on setting up temporary batting cages at Philippone Park. Paul Totero has met with members of the Radnor Wayne Little League to evaluate the location where they will be set up. It is expected that the initial cage will be set up by June. Discussions have been ongoing with the Friends of the Willows Cottage and the Greener Partners to understand and establish the future of the CSA Skunk Hollow Community Farm. Farming of the property is currently on hold for the 2011 spring season, and it is under review for establishment of the viable entity that will continue the future operations. The township staff is continuing to meet in order to determine the direction. An update on the Cowan Park DCNR grant and development of the new comfort station. We have received the final draft of the drawings and specifications from the architect and are in the process of preparing the bid packet for construction. It is anticipated that the project will be bid sometime in the coming weeks. We have requested a grant extension from DCNR to lengthen the timeline to complete the project for later in 2011. Kevin Yim's Eagle Scout project that consisted of the restoration of the Brook Farm Trail is currently underway, and it's going very well. In the next couple of weeks, he'll be installing the stepping stones through the stream and anticipates he'll complete his project in early to mid-June, weather permitting. For more information and updates on what is happening in the Radnor Township Parks and Recreation Department, please be sure to check out our weekly reports that are posted online at www.radnor.com under featured links. Thank you very much, and that concludes my update and my report for April.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments on Tammy's report?
I do. Tammy, the Spring Youth Basketball League, where's that being held?
Radnor Activity Center.
Okay. And the
Exclusively.
whole thing, it's all being done there. That's good. All right. And the farm, what happened to the farm? Why is that not being done this year?
I think there's some items that are being worked out between the Greener Partners and the Friends of the Willows Cottage for further understanding. I'm not aware of all of the exact details, but I think they're working out some items within their relationship to determine where the future direction goes.
Gotcha. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Is it too early to comment on the enrollment and how that's going for the summer day camp?
Radnor Day Camp enrollment is it's almost at 100.
Okay.
It was at 90 when I looked at it earlier in the week.
Okay.
So we're right around 100. I would say that it's probably a little bit of a lower pace than what it had been last year.
Okay.
We're hoping that with some continued distributions of the brochure, specifically the township newsletter as well, in all of the households will hopefully boost the enrollment for all of the camp programs.
Okay. The batting cages at Philippone, are they similar to the ones that are at Emlyn Tennell for the softball? Do you know?
I am not certain. I have not seen them. I know that they're to be a temporary structure.
Right, okay. Okay. And my last would be kudos to Paul Totaro and his communications with the field closures and the club discretions and so forth. He's really been on top of that and really did a nice job in getting that information out to all the folks and kind of giving everybody a heads up as to really what's transpiring with the fields and the status, especially during inclement weather, which in April we certainly had quite a bit. So I just wanted to make note of that for Paul. Nice job.
Also, the fields are in great shape.
That's great. That's
Yep.
super. That's good to hear. Good to hear. Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Tammy. Do we have a Shade Tree report?
I was scheduled for the April meeting, but due to a lack of a quorum, they canceled the meeting.
Okay, all right. School board, anything from the school board?
Yes, the teachers have signed their contract agreement.
That's great.
Last time I reported that it was tentative, and
Okay.
now it's actual.
It's good news.
The seniors are happily preparing for commencement,
Mm-hmm.
and the students are enjoying being outside, and spring is here. And yesterday, I walked Memorial Field and saw the Ultimate Frisbee players on it and talked to them, and they were really happy with the field, and actually it looks
Great.
pretty good.
Super.
So I would say it's a good-looking field.
Great. Any committee reports? Let's see, EAC? How about commissioners? John, anything from the commissioner standpoint?
Nothing for tonight. We didn't vote on Agnes Irwin the other night. It'll probably be on the next agenda, assuming that the details of the contract or the lease are worked out at that.
Okay. I guess touching on that, I mean, I guess the update was that they were looking to do an appraisal, and potentially that was going to be looked at, and some determination on some of the commissioners involved, and then kind of take it from there.
Yeah, there's some, two of the commissioners are interested in trying to look at a financial basis so they can evaluate this in financial terms. So that's what the effort's directed towards right now.
Okay. All right, great.
And, Bob Miklas did a tremendous amount of work, and he
Yep.
has been meeting with his commissioner about this to review that data.
Okay.
John, how long do you think it will take for that report to be done?
I have no idea.
You talking about the appraisal?
The appraisal?
I think we're going to try and establish 100% if we're going to be performing it in the next couple days.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
Can I just ask a quick question on that?
Sure.
Is, if it's determined that the appraisal will not be done, does that mean it will be up for a vote, or at least on the agenda for the next commissioners' meeting on the 23rd?
It will be up for introduction as an ordinance on May 23rd,
Okay.
as far as I'm aware right at this present moment.
Okay. Let's see, under old business, we have the playground program update. Tammy, you want to take that?
Yes, I just wanted to take an opportunity to revisit this item. This has been a program that's been around for a number of years. We addressed it at our last meeting, and we talked about it. I also had talked about it further with the Board of Commissioners at their meeting, and they were in agreement as well that we would put this program on a hiatus and evaluate it. As of right now, we've tried to communicate that the program is currently discontinued in our brochure and on our website, so folks are aware of that. And we'll currently keep it under evaluation, and we'll make decisions on what happens in the future, depending on any feedback that we get.
Okay, all right, thank you. Radnor Activity Center, I guess last meeting, we put forth a motion. I don't know that I've seen that on the agenda for the commissioners. John, is that anything you can touch on with regards to our motion and whether or not that has been relayed to the commissioners?
The commissioner's aware of it. We've had some discussions about it. It hasn't been on the agenda yet. My understanding is Miklas is going to be meeting with Ray to talk about some of the efforts that volunteers can undertake. And
Okay.
did Bob have a meeting with staff yet to talk about what staff can accomplish?
Bob Miklas?
No.
Bob, the township manager, has not presently.
I've been watching too many kids shows.
But Bob Miklas, I know, is in the process of setting up a meeting with Ray Dally, I believe for early next week was the last I
And it'll
saw.
also include the people from Public Works to find out exactly what skill set they have that can address the problems that have been identified. So your letter was very effective.
Okay, good.
And thank you.
I guess next is Radnor Memorial, which we've kind of touched on, and I just, again, want to thank everybody that came out for the special meeting. And I know that there was some discussions on Monday at the commissioners' meeting. Again, I think it's in the final stages of trying to get the lease agreement finalized and I guess fine-tuned, and then potentially the appraisal to have some, I guess, some more financial analysis done on the value and some calculations that some of the commissioners feel that they want to do, and trying to come up with a lease factor. And I don't know if anybody else has any comments or thoughts on that, but that's kind of where that lays, and I really just wanted to kind of update everybody where we stood on that. And
I'll say I don't think it's necessarily a go yet.
no.
No, yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm
It's-
just updating where the process is
Yeah.
and what transpired at the commissioners' meeting, and by no means is it a go.
Yeah.
It's,
I'd be a little more pessimistic than optimistic at this
Yeah.
time.
John, if I can ask you, would it make a difference at all if we once again strongly reiterate our stand on this?
Best thing folks can do is talk to their individual commissioners and convey their feelings directly.
I'd be happy to talk to mine, but unfortunately, she's been reclused to be able to
Yes.
vote. So, you know, our ward is kind of without a vote, and I think that's a little bit
That's the thing that's-
disappointing.
If you remember history, that's the thing people in the Fifth Ward can clearly identify with, since we essentially didn't have a voting commission.
Yeah, you know, it's, you know.
Have we received any indication as to a time frame? I mean, things have been pushed back, and understandably so, but have we received any indication as to when sort of the time frame or the deadline would be to get
We
this
don't have a
going?
drop dead date, if that's what you're asking.
Basically, for that
Yeah.
to be completed for the beginning of the school year,
Yeah.
and basically the fall programs at the
That's,
township.
the goal is actually sooner than that, so they have it for prep for the fall programs.
Okay, but we haven't gotten a deadline when that would be?
No.
Okay.
Now, the important thing is that Agnes Irwin is still on board and is prepared for the May 23rd meeting and
In fact,
discussions.
they offered the other night they're going to pay for the appraisal.
I also got the impression that their patience is waning a little bit.
You're a master of understatement.
Thank you.
So is Bob Z's.
No, he doesn't have any patience anymore on the issue. And it was, by the way, none of you noticed, it was front page news on the Suburban today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any other comments?
I have a comment about the lights at the high school, on the tennis courts. Some people, more than some, are concerned about not being able to play there at night. And we're so concerned about obesity in this township, and the people that are coming to play at night have sat on their cans in offices all day, and now we're restricting them from getting exercise at night. Is there anything that we can do? I know, Tammy, that you have been in touch with Mike Friel, who has said that there haven't been a whole lot of people that have complained about it. I don't know whether people know whether or not they
These are
can complain to, anybody about it, who to complain to.
These are lights to extend the time frame for people to participate on an athletic
Right.
field.
I can't hear you.
This is lights that enable people to spend longer time on an athletic facility.
For the
Uh,
tennis
this is
courts.
for the tennis courts.
Specifically the tennis
It
courts.
It was decided
about
at
8
one of the
o'clock, right?
recent commissioners' meetings to turn out those lights.
It wasn't decided by the commissioners. It was
Well-
decided by the township administration. It was a budgetary concern. It was a
Right.
budgetary item and
But
a
is there
budget
anything that
decision
can
to
be
turn them
done
off.
about that? Can there be somebody hears that a tennis player can come in and check in, say that we want to play for a specific amount of time, and then pay as tennis clubs do?
Brucey, if
or-
I could add some information. Many years ago, we had meters on those lights that you put money in. And, you know, one of those like turn the knob for a gumball type things. They were vandalized. We replaced those with meters that used tokens. And then the problem was you had to come to the township building to buy the tokens. So I've talked to Bob Z about this and asked him to explore whether we can get something more like the token meter or something that even uses a credit card.
A swipe meter,
Yeah.
something like that would be
Yes.
great. Thank
So,
you for pursuing that.
yeah, we are looking
And
at
where
it.
are you in that pursuit?
I think right now where we've been
Eni,
as
Eni?
staff is we've been evaluating the feedback that we've been getting from folks in the community. And I've only had 2 phone calls at this point. And I would encourage that if there are other phone calls that are being made either to Mike Friel, and I've communicated this with him, and Leo Burnaby as well, that if he's getting those, please direct those folks to me so that I can process and understand what that feedback is, because we would be up for working with folks and trying to come up with a solution.
Okay, that sounds great, Tammy. Thanks so much. And maybe you could put something in the Suburban on the front page and have them do a poll. Do you want lights at the township on the tennis courts? Then you would get some feedback. Thanks.
As long as they're residents.
Yes, exactly. And they could specify that.
Okay.
Maybe also ask them if they want a turf field over a memorial in that poll.
I'll be sure to do that as well.
No, don't do that.
Okay. All righty. Anybody else?
Two quickies. Tammy, on the Willows, I assume we're not doing any more activities for 2012, and the number of events obviously are trailing off considerably. Is that met with inquiries for utilization that you're tracking, or is that pretty much, since we're not doing marketing or promotion, that's pretty much dried up?
Well, first of all, we are not taking any reservations for 2012, so that decision does still stand, and that is the way that we have been operating. I know that Mary has been tracking, as she does any of her inquiries or anything, if somebody's coming or wants to take a look at the mansion. I don't have an exact, number or an assessment to say, well, we've had 10 inquiries for 2012, but I know Mary would have a better estimate of what that looks like. But I think we have noticed as well that it looks like there has been a decrease compared to last year in terms of the number of events.
Thank you.
Kind of related to that, Fenton, if I may. In the few months I've been on the board here, I see some things that are disjointed from the standpoint. We talk about Willows. I heard a few months ago about Krutzberg. I hear about the Sulpizio Gym. I have to look at the resources that kind of come under, I guess, the purview of Parks and Rec. And I was hoping that at some point along the line that we can kind of be the impetus or the driving force to bring it all together, like what's going to happen with Krutzberg. It also has impacts on Memorial Field because bottom line, we're all talking about dollars. So you would like to see an action plan put together, not by this committee, but at our suggestion, to say that the long and short-term plan for these resources, whether it's Krutzberg, whether it's Willows, Sulpizio Gym, look at the tasks that are there, the costs that are related to those tasks, when we can talk about is it feasible for 2012, 2013, 2014. Bottom line, I did not hear, I watched the board meeting on Monday evening. I guess the flip side, if nothing is done to Memorial Field, what will happen then?
Correct.
I do not think the township's in the position to say, okay, if Agnes Irwin doesn't do it, then we're going to find $40,000 or $50,000 to bring that field up to playing standards. I was almost tempted to leave my house and come up to the meeting here, but I figured, nah, I don't want to do that because then I'm crossing over. Once it was surfaced a number of times by a number of people that we were limiting Memorial Field to smaller kids playing on there because of the chance of an accident taking place or some injury. And I think some people did mention it in the audience. We're opening ourselves up at this point because it's on record that that particular field is not really playable for certain age groups. Now, what precludes a 7-year-old from getting hurt there and a parent saying, hey guys, you knew that field was in that condition. I'm going to hold you liable, this township. It's out there. So I don't see a master plan for all of these resources. I heard people come up about Krutzberg. What are you going to do with that? They said that that mansion is in some sort of limited conditions. I've been there, seen some of it. Beautiful location, you can't beat it. But again, it's similar to the Willows. There's going to have to be some major investments into that piece of property. Or are we going to just sit there and let them all go into a state of disrepair that somewhere down the line, you're going to have major funding issues with those? Is that planning? And that's one of my first points.
I think Kreutzberg's being evaluated by the township, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'll give you a little feedback that none of those facilities are just sitting waiting to fall down. We are actively pursuing solutions to all those problems. But you bring up a better question, is that the Parks Board really should be kept informed of what's going on, since they are under your global blanket, if you will. And I'll see if I can't put something together for you folks for the next meeting.
And Pat, Peter Sampson gave a fairly convincing, politically persuasive argument pro turfing Memorial Field last week, was when he spoke at the Parks and he, of course, he's a proponent of it, and he's the one that brought up the danger. And that was actually the first time I've ever heard that that field is dangerous. So I don't think that that can be something that can be validated for the record. Maybe you'd have to have somebody come in here and an expert, right, from some other people that are very pro-turfing.
What was interesting, though, Brucey, if I might
it hasn't.
add.
They were going to, last time that they were looking at turfing a field, the very first field, rather, that the township or the school district wanted to turf, that is now Enki over at the high school. Memorial Field was one of the fields that was being looked at, yet that was a field that was determined could not be turf because of the direction it faces. And when kids were to play on it, in the late afternoon, they would be blinded by the sun. And that was the reason, that was one of the reasons that was used to go to the high school and turf.
Actually, the middle school was
artificially
the
turf.
other field that was being considered.
Well,
And
the
for
Memorial
the
Field, I'm
record-
talking about what the rationale
For the
was for
record, you're
not.
against the turfing on the field, so Peter's for,
No, no.
you're against.
Well, not necessarily. I
Okay.
never said I was against.
Brucey, I think the thing with Memorial was the fact that it's not large enough to be a high school lacrosse field. And I think that was the major problem. It's a little bit too small for that, so that's why they chose not to
Yet
turf.
how is Irwin's going to make it? Irwin's is actually going to
Girls'
expand
sports,
it.
not
Oh.
different than boys.
Okay,
They could
all right.
play on a smaller field.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that clarification.
Any other comments?
I just wanted to give a shout out to the race for open space, the 5K run at the Willows on Sunday, June 5th. It's a good activity, and I hope to see a number of my Park and
We'll all
Rec
be there?
colleagues out there for that.
Well, they also have a need for people to work that day as course, give people directions on the course and pass out water bottles as people.
We might be better qualified for that,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
So I wanted to put that out there, Mike.
I actually
Thank you,
do the
John.
Radnor Run, so that's one event for the year.
He runs in the Radnor Run, not volunteer.
I only run when I'm being chased. How come there's not a walk here?
There's
There
a walk
is?
that's, well, there is a walk
For
that's part of
kids.
that, and there's a walk that's part of the Radnor Run as well.
Okay, but the race for open space, I didn't see anything about a walk here. Is there?
In my discussions with the Conservancy, there's supposed to be a walk that's part of it as well. Maybe it wasn't communicated
No, I didn't
clearly on
see
the
that.
flyer.
Okay,
I
thanks.
could talk to him about it.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. We're adjourned.